is. You got the snowman. How cute. Thank you. I cannot wait to paint with you. So here's a few things. You want to be in your comfy clothes because it doesn't wash out. Cover your paint surface because it may not wash off. Definitely need a water cup full of clean water. You need all your brushes and paints and napkins and paint plate from your art kit. Of course, your canvas. Some maybe Christmas music, a little snacky snack, and a beverage if you'd like. So we are ready to get started. Now I have a whole process to my painting. I like to start with the background first and then move from there typically. Today we're going to paint the snowman first and then go from there. But I have to grab clean water. Okay, I'm back. I had to grab some clean water. It's not a clean cup though. We never use clean cups. So, anyway, like I was saying, we're going to go ahead and paint our snowman in first. Now you can leave all your paints in your tins until it comes time to mix. When it comes time to mix, then you'll want to scoop the paint out, put it on your plate, and mix, okay? So I'm going to get some white, and I am going to go ahead and get the snowman all painted in. Now we have painted this snowman at my studio before, and some people decided instead of making the snowman kind of smooth and follow the curves like I'm doing here, what they did was they actually used their brush and just kind of dabbed it like that and gave it a little bit of a texture. If you can see that on there, okay? And they filled their whole snowman in that way. So it's up to you. Do you want the texture? Do you not want the texture? But you do need to add white. And the reason being is because the paint has a little bit of a semi-gloss to it, just a teensy bit. So if you were to walk up to this painting from the side, or if the light was shining just right, it would be very, very obvious where you did not paint any white on the canvas, okay? So I'm also going to go ahead and paint the scarf in, just a thin layer, just super thin layer of white. And the reason being on that is maybe I want to do a striped scarf. And so it might be like a black and white striped scarf. So obviously every other spot would be white. So if I just paint the whole thing white right now, when I go back and add the black spots, I don't have to do anything extra, right? Okay, now it's okay if we accidentally get white paint on our Sharpie lines. It's next to impossible not to. And you can always go back at the end with your Sharpie and retrace those lines, right? Okay, to clean your brush, this is important. You have to smush the brush on the bottom of the cup and swirl it around. It doesn't work to just wiggle the brush in there. So we go all the way to the bottom and we smush and swirl just like this. Smush and swirl, smush and swirl. Just like that. No tapping because you will splash it everywhere. Instead, we just wipe our brush and we dry our brush. Okay? Now, we can work on our background. We could use the same brush. It has the flat end and the pointy corners. When we hold our brush, we hold it just like we hold a pencil, right where the metal and the handle touch. Now, we could scoop some blue out on our plate, scoop some turquoise out on our plate, and kind of make like a bluish turquoise sky. You could make a night sky. That's super cute. You could do a day sky. Whatever floats your boat. Okay, so what I have is I have some turquoise and then I put blue in it. So turquoise and then blue. And you want to get a decent amount and you want to try to keep your pile in one spot. Now, yes, I did use this plate for a different painting. That's why there's paint all over it. Okay, so we're going to outline, which means we get really close to everything. And then after we outline a section, we can go in and fill it in. Now, I'm not all about making it nice and smooth, so you can kind of swirl your brush as you fill in, dab it, sweep it, whatever works, okay? There we go. There we go. Awesome. So we're going to get this all in here, okay? Just like that. So we kind of outline each little section. Be really careful next to the snowman. If you accidentally get paint on the snowman real quick, you're going to wrap your napkin up around your finger, okay? So you're going to go, I typically fold it in half and then I wrap it around my finger real tight, get it in the water, and then rub it clean, okay? That's a little trick that you can do. And then you use another little part of that napkin that's dry and you dry it clean, okay? Dry the canvas. So that's what I do when I get oopsies. I would say you could let it dry and paint over it, but it's kind of hard if you're painting with white to paint over something, right? That something is just going to show right through the white paint. So it's probably best if you just clean it off real quick if it gets on the snowman. If it gets on his arms, don't worry about it, because we can paint over that, right, with brown. If it just gets a little bit on the snowman, don't worry about that either, because that may not be super noticeable, okay? Just if you point it out to somebody. And we never want to point out our flaws to people, right? Just let them figure it out on their own. And half the time, they won't figure it out on their own, right? They won't even notice. Okay. And then just sweep that all in. Sweep, 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 sweep. Just get that all filled in. Just fun texture. If you don't trust yourself with this brush in between all these little points on the snowman, then use a smaller brush, right? For sure. There we go. Fill that in. So close. Go up around the belly. Fill that in. Okay. Now, oh, I almost forgot this huge section over here. Hello. Okay. There we go. Ta-da. And up and around. Ta-da. Now, if you're about it, I like to paint my edges. Don't let me forget at some point we have to paint the bottom, right? Oops. Okay, and then across the top. And then we'll go down the other side. Just like this. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at us go. Now we never want to spend like an outrageous amount of time on the background because you're not even really going to notice the background that much by the time it's all said and done and we stick our snowflakes and stuff on there, okay? I'm just going to let that big guy hang out in the water for now because I don't need him right now, okay? Now, there's another kind of big guy, but it has the curvy corners. You see that? Okay? We're going to use this one, and we're going to put a base of... let's make like, you could do brown. You don't have to do black. In the picture, it's black. You don't have to do that. So I could make a really dark gray by mixing black. I already had gray on my plate and just a little bit of white at a time, right? And we can make a really dark gray. I'm not going to go all the way dark because I want to be able to see when I put a little bit of shadow in there. Okay, now we don't want too much paint on our brush, so notice that I'm kind of rolling it off, or you can scrape it off. And then I like this brush because the bristles are nice and thick, so we can outline and then fill in. And when you fill in, don't even try to make it look nice and smooth. Like, go ahead and make sure it looks really textured-y. Like that. There we go. There we go. and there. There we go. Okay, and then just sort of dab, dab, dab. Okay, same thing. Outline, outline, dab, dab, dab. Outline, 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 outline. Outline, outline. Hey, and remember, the cool thing about these videos is you can totally pause me, rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to do to be successful, right? You get to go at your own pace. Also, I paint in a process, so you have to trust my process. I do lots of layers, and I have lots of techniques for when I'm painting. So you just got to listen real careful, and you'll pick up on them. Okay, there we go. Okay, now what I can do with a smaller brush, or just smaller one, it's kind of flat on the end, I can go with straight black, okay, and I can go on the underside, 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 right, like that. And a little bit on the underside over here, and there, and there, and over here, like that. Okay, same thing over here, underside, 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 just like that, okay? And if you really like the texture, you can add, you know, little bits here and there wherever you want to, okay? So we can add little extra bits of texture in there. All right? Just like that. Okay? Now, I'm not going to wash my brush. I'm just going to wipe it off on my napkin. And you can make a lighter gray by getting into this gray and just mix in some white. And we can go on the opposite side. So now we can hit the tops of these little branch finger twigs, right? There we go. And it gives them definitely a sense of depth, kind of gives it a little bit even of a 3D feel, right? There we go. Oh yes, so awesome, guys, for real. And this is just a very, 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 very soft, gentle touch. Just very soft, gentle, dabby, dab, pull, dabby, dab, pull. Okay? Now, if you want to, while you have this on your brush, you could go ahead and fill in your buttons. You could do them black, you could do them dark gray. It's whatever you want to do them. And then we can do the same rules. We can grab some of the light and do top curve, top curve, top curve, just like that. We can get in his mouth. So just like that, we outline, outline. And really, if you want to, you could use that same brush that we used to put the initial layer onto the branches. You could use that for this. There we go. There we go. And if you don't trust yourself on those curves with the paintbrush, you can always just use the Sharpie at the end. Now, if you wanted to lighten the middle of the mouth just a little, you could grab some of that light gray that we made and just kind of sweep it in there. Just like that, if you want to, okay? And the more you go over it, the more it's going to kind of blend, so that's up to you. There we go. All right. Now, I'm going to let this brush hang out in the water, and why not talk about this nose a little? So if you want to make an orange for a carrot nose, you're going to grab some yellow, and you're going to grab you a little bit of red at a time. You can always add more red in to darken up your orange if you need to, okay? I'm going to go for kind of a medium orange for a base coat. So we're going to fill in our carrot with a base coat of orange. Be very careful in case your background is still wet. Outline, fill in. Outline, fill in. Outline, fill in. Just like that. Okay? Now, what I can do is I can go now and put a little bit more, I'm not going to put it in all of it, a little bit more red in there so we get a really dark orange, okay? Really darker orange. And then what I do, roll the extra off, and this time I'm going to do the bottom of each curve, just like that. Okay, then with my yellow, I can just kind of hit the top of each curve. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, so it looks something like that. If that is too yellowy for you, then just go back over it with that first orange that we made and kind of blend that in a little, and then it'll look really nice, okay? So now we got to talk green, right? So to make green, what you're going to do is you're going to grab you a chunk, ooh, don't do that, grab you a chunk of yellow, it's all over my table, and then we're going to get us a little bit of blue at a time. Okay, and I didn't really need to make this much green. You don't have to make this much green, guys. Okay, and there we go. The more blue you stick in there, the darker your green will be, okay? So I'm trying to kind of go for a medium green right now, or just like a regular green, if that even makes sense. Okay. All right, so we'll go ahead and outline and fill in, okay? And outline and fill in. And outline. And then we'll fill in. Ta-da! There we go. Okay. Now, if I wanted to make a little bit darker green, there's a trick. You use its complement, which is red. Mix the red into the green, and it's going to make a darker green, like an evergreen green, okay? If you put too much red in, though, it will go brown, just FYI. And if that happens, that's okay. Just start again, no big deal. So see, I could put just a little pop, pop on the underside. Pop, pop, pop. On the underside of each of these. I love it. Love it. You can even bring it up a little bit higher if you want to. Okay. Now, clean that out, dry that off. I could use one of these little guys, paint in the little berries. There we go. Circle, circle, fill in. Or I guess really curve, curve, fill in. There we go. Okay, now I could use one of these same small brushes, or I could use this flat guy that has the corners, and whatever color you want in your scarf. I'm going to start on the edge. I'm going to follow the curve, follow the curve. So it's like I made a backwards 3, okay? Then I'm going to scoot over a little bit, and I'm going to follow the curve, follow the curve. Scoot over a little bit, follow the curve, follow the curve. Scoot over a little bit, follow that curve. And follow the curve. And then on this other side, I'm going to go on the outside edge there. Ooh, squeeze one in between there, okay? Now, for the bottom of the scarf, I am going to curve down just a little, okay? And this brush is making the most perfect size stripes. Now, the harder I push, the thicker they will be, so that's something to think about. Now, the reason why I started right there is because I kind of went where the white spot is, and I went across from it. So that way, I don't make my black stripes in exactly the same place, because then otherwise they're just going to look like M's, right? There we go. And then there we go. All right. Now, after this dries, you can most definitely take your permanent marker and retrace this scarf. It's going to look fabulous. And you could do those stripes with whatever color you want. No wrong answer. Now, I'm going to take my baby brush. I'm going to dip it in the white, and I'm just going to do a little pop, pop, pop. Little pop, pop, pop. Maybe even a little there and there. And how about here, 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 and there. And then what if we did just a little bit on the nose like that? And here, there, 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 there. And curve, curve, curve. And so what that does is it gives it little pops and highlights, and it really brings it together, right? It gives it a little personality. And then the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to clean, oh, I don't know. I think I want to clean that big brush, but that has the rounded corners. I think that's the one that's going to look good. We'll try it. If your water gets too yucky, get you fresh water, because if you can't get it all, your brushes clean all the way, where they wipe clean on your napkin, then it's just going to make your paint look mucky, okay? So we dry those. All right, now I'm going to take this brush, I'm going to dip it in my paint, and I am going to, right on that Sharpie line, dab, 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 all the way around. Okay, right on top of the Sharpie line. Let me show you. Right on top of it. Now, if we want it to look a little looser, now that I don't have so much on there, I can dab into the sky, back down, into the sky, back down, into the sky, back down, into the sky, back down. So this way I get just a real thin layer right next to my original layer. Now, if there's too much paint on your brush, this is not going to work. So what you can do is just kind of dab it off on your plate. Then you get to work on the other side. Okay, now I don't have enough paint on my brush. So we're going to dab, 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 all the way down that Sharpie line. I think My background was still a little wet there. I got turquoise in my brush. Get me some fresh white. Get the extra out and then just kind of dab, 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 dab right next to it. Then of course we can go right here, down its side, down this side. And the snowman is just so happy to be outside in nature, right? Just part of nature. Got to come to life for a little bit. So now we have this great little fuzzy glow next to our snowman. Don't have to do that, just if you want to. Now I'm going to clean off that big brush that has the pointy corners really good. Dry it really good. And I'm going to show y'all something. If I get it real dry and then I take my fingers and make sure it's real pointy. Look how flat that is. Then I dip it in my white paint. And just to make sure I don't have too much, I can dip on my plate. You can even practice on your plate, okay? And then what we're going to do is we're going to go vertical, horizontal, diagonal, diagonal. And it makes the most perfect little snowflake, okay? So we continue to do that. So we make a plus and then an X. Okay? And a plus and then an X. And I think it's okay if it's not perfect. And I also think it looks good if it kind of angles different directions. And remember, no two snowflakes are exactly the same. They take on their own characteristic, right? They're a little different. That's what makes them so special. There we go. Awesome. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Now we take the bottom of our brush handle. This is another way. This is an easier way to make snowflakes. And if I wanted these to be smaller, dot, 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 dot. If I wanted these to be smaller, then I could use one of my smaller brushes, right? To make all these little dots. Okay. So that, my friends, is so cute. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's how my husband says it. Okay, so this is our very, very sweet little snowman. I love it. I hope that you had a great time painting this. I thank you so much for hanging out with me. Remember, you can get more art kits on my website. Link is down below. Definitely tell your friends about it and definitely post your artwork. I want to see it and tag Artsy Rose in it. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, be safe, be well, and I can't wait to do some more art with you.